This screencast is an overview of how the Edexcel GCSE Religious Studies exam will work, and in particular Unit 1, Religion and Life, based on Christianity, and the other religion that we study is Islam. So this is the front of the exam paper and what it should look like. This is obviously from a couple of years ago, but the exam is 1 hour and 30 minutes long. For most people, that's 2 years worth of work that you need to remember and be able to write in 1 hour and 30 minutes. The instructions on the front: use black ink. That's because this answer paper is going to be scanned into a computer and the examiner will be reading it on their computer screen, not actually touching your paper. You obviously have to complete that at the start of the exam, which the invigilators will tell you what to do. Now, these are the important instructions. You have to answer one question from each of the 4 sections. Now, when we talk about a question, we'll go through that in a second, but there are 4 sections: believing in God, matters of life and death, marriage and family, and community cohesion, and you have to answer a whole question from each of those 4. And the booklet includes this space where you can write your answers. So there's 4 sections, they're each worth 20, so the total is 80. However, in the new spec that you'll be sitting, there's actually another 3 marks available for spelling and written communication with grammar. The asterisk relates to the C questions, which you can hear about if you listen to the screencast on C questions. So let's have a look inside the paper. If I scroll down, this is the first section, believing in God. Now, when it talks about a question, it's actually talking about this whole part here. That is question 1. So question 1 is divided into 4: A, B, C and D. And question 2 is divided into 4: A, B, C and D. So you've either got to do all of them or all of them for the believing in God section. You cannot mix and match. You can't think, oh, I know what natural evil is, I'll do that one. Oh, but I also know about religious experiences, so I'll do 1A, I'll do 2B, and actually I know design, so I'll do 2C, and then I'm going to jump back up to 1D. You cannot mix and match. Now, there is a way to help you to remember how not to mix and match. So this student has decided that they're definitely not going to do question 8 in community cohesion. They're going to do question 7. So on their paper, they have crossed through question 8 so that whenever they're flicking back to the questions, they make sure that their eyes don't accidentally go to the wrong section. This is fine, but just make sure you're 100% sure that you've chosen not to do this question before you cross through it. So how do you choose which section to choose? The question above the line or the question below? Well, the first initial thing, especially when you're nervous and you walk into the exam, you see this section 1 and you see 1A. Now you're either going to say, oh, brilliant, I know what that is, or you might start to panic and jump down to omnibenevolent. But they are just worth 2 marks. They're not the questions that you should use to decide which you're going to do. The C questions are worth the most. They should be your deciders. So in this case, do you know how followers of one religion respond to the problem of unanswered prayers more than the argument from design? Or do you know the argument from design more than that? Now, if it's an equal answer, then you might want to look to the D question, which is worth 6. And do you understand what that's asking you? Do you think you could write a good argument for that? So do not make your decision based on the A question. They're only worth 2 marks. So you've decided which question you're going to do, and this student's actually done something that might be useful just to do it in the first section. You might be nervous. It might be a really good thing for you to sit down and just think, okay, what am I doing? So they've written on the questions. You can write on the questions. They won't be submitted to the examiner, so this is notes for yourself. So here they've quite clearly remembered that A are their keywords. They should PP in a B, they should use 4 becauses and in a C, and that they should use the agree disagree in the D. So you can do that once just to remind yourself how to answer the questions. So if we look at the answer sheet, up the top here, you have to indicate which question in this section you're going to do by putting a cross in the box that's highlighted here. Now this is really important that you do this, because this is what the computer picks up when your paper is scanned, and that will determine how your paper is filtered. Examiners have to mark all different sets of answers, and this is one of the ways that the computer can see which you've decided to have a go at. Now, make sure that you're 100% sure before you put a cross in it which one you're going to do. Please don't tick or cross question 1 and then go, oh, actually I want to do question 2. So make 100% sure, but do not leave it blank. You really don't want your paper to be put in the pile of this student didn't remember to put the cross in their answer. So we can see here they've given us enough space to write our answers, and if you look at the screencast about how to answer each question, you'll see how to use that space. Just one quick thing, this line here is the outside of where the examiner can see when it's marked. If you write outside, if your writing goes over, it becomes a bit of a problem for an examiner, and that might have to then be sent off to a different examiner. So keep within the lines. So that's the first page, then you get another whole page for the C question, and then for the D question it's outlined there. That's one whole question. So let's finally quickly think about timing. The exam's 1 hour 30 minutes. You have 4 sections to answer, each is with the 20 marks. So if we think about it, being a minute a mark and the total mark is 80 marks, then that gives you 80 minutes. So roughly 20 minutes per section, and that gives you 10 minutes to be able to read and make those crucial decisions and to review your paper at the end. The key is that you do not leave any blanks. So you should not be spending hours or lots of minutes on the Believing in God section, and then the community cohesion, you're not getting to do the C or the D. You have to think carefully about your time and how you're going to divide it up to make sure that you've got an equal chance of getting all the marks.